Welcome to TezTalks Radio. I am Marissa Trew, and today I am joined with Jinyao Lin, the co-founder of Akaswap, an intuitive, user-friendly green NFT trading platform that enables users to easily create, collect, and trade NFTs. So welcome, Jinyao. How are you today?
Yeah, hi, I'm good. Thank you for inviting me to the program, and I'm happy to talk to you about how we are doing in Taiwan, and of course the Akaswap, and of course our background and our future.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. So first, I want to start off with your personal journey. So how did you come to discover the world of blockchain and Web3?
Okay, I have a few friends. They go to the blockchain world first, and they start to doing create their works in the foundation or that we have a here and now platform before. So they start to do this first, and then some of the friend told me that it's very good to develop the digital artworks in the blockchain because it's can make us to explore more potential collector to collect our piece. So I think it's very interesting because we are doing digital art for a long time, but it's still very not so easy to find the huge amount collector in the market. So but by the blockchain and also the Tezos Foundation, that we found that the more and more digital artists they start to announce to publish their works on the Tezos, and we found okay it's quite amazing, and we really see the future that how artists can really make the connection to the collector each other. So this is how we start. So I start to publish my piece at FXH, and also but meanwhile that we have a plan to think about, we need to have a really marketplace focus on the digital art. So we start to plan to build the Akaswap. So yeah, this is how we start.
So you started by minting your works on FX Hash after you found out how diverse the art community was on Tezos, but what motivated you to create Akaswap? What was the thing that was missing from other marketplaces that you thought Akaswap could solve for?
Okay, I think the community is very important, and I found that all this community running in behind, like FXH is mostly in Europe, and here and now happens in the South American. But of course, they have a wildly worldwide user, but they still have a real communication in the local area. So I think for the Asia and how to make all these artists together and to have a really warm place, I think it's very important for us. So we think, okay, it's a really good idea to start from Asia, that we can create a marketplace locally and support. Of course, we have a language which is support. In the beginning, we start to support like a Korean, Japanese, Taiwanese, and Indonesia, and of course English is the basic. So we think it's very important to have a localized marketplace for each market. So that's how we start to build.
So essentially, even though I guess the blockchain Web3 universe was non-stop, it meant that like the marketplaces were only really serving time zones that didn't really service Asia. So Akaswap was going to service the Asia time zone and basically build the crypto art community within this region specifically.
Yes, yes. I think it's a the thing happen very interesting is because actually the blockchain is the technique start, and it's still very young. So actually there are still a lot of technique need to be developed and to be customized. So I think the two, because if for example if we want to do a lot of campaign, and we are using the campaign to using a lot of blockchain functionality, but the developer community is not localized, then you have a very difficult to develop the application. So I think work with a local artist and to tightly work with them and to develop the functionality is very important. That makes us very special that we can develop the really good application for them. So, and that's I think that's very wonderful because we talk to many artists and also to talk to TC APEC. They also have some need that we can help them to develop very unique function. And I think that's because we are very close living in the Asia, and we are very easy to communicate. Otherwise, of course, but you can still talk to play somewhere else in very far away, but it's not so easy to work together. I think so. So
So,
that's why we think it's very nice that to have a local marketplace like Akaswap.
and as you mentioned, I think what people often overlook is that you can keep a closer relationship with the very people who use the platform, so you can actually develop it in a way that continues to serve their needs without having to sort of,
Yeah,
I guess, speculate what everyone else is doing within the space and how you can adopt the same features. It's very much, what do artists need? How can we support it? And what resources do we have? For example, you mentioned TZ APAC in order to make that a reality. So I know Akaswap was one of the Fortify Labs cohort. So what was actually the experience like of working with TZ APAC?
I think TZF is very, very helpful to us because they have very good connection, and with their help that we are able to reach many collector and investor to us. So it's very important. And of course, they have a very nice network and they know how the market's going and what kind of function they need right now. So I think it's with them, it's very joyful. And then for our engineer, we can also know how the market is thinking and which kind of functionality we should develop right now.
Okay, so while you have a close relationship with regional artists, basically using channels like TZ APAC meant that you could amplify those artists' work onto a global stage through, what resources TZ APAC could provide. You also said in terms
Yeah,
of
yes.
the incorporation of new features, how, what's next on the roadmap in terms of how is Akaswap developing products and features are you planning on implementing?
Okay. Actually, we have already implemented a lot of interesting function. We think the artist or the campaign they want to have some tools to help them to promote their activities. So, in Akaswap, that the basic function is you can have a gacha. Gacha means that make a lucky draw of the tokens. And we also have like an ocean, which is very basic. But at this moment, we are also trying to help people to much easier to get into the NFT market. So we have like a Akaswap. Akaswap is a functionality that for example, if you want to give your token to those people they never using the blockchain, and they just have to need to have is their email address, and with the email address they can turn into a wallet and they can collect easily. Then they even don't need any money in their wallet, and they can start collect things. So this is Akaswap. It's a kind of reverse the relationship that it means that I just want to give you some token, and you don't need to do it. You just need an email to receive. But and in the future, if you want to go to the NFT market, that of course you can do more. But we give you full authority that you can use. You can transfer, you can send to this token to other people. And I think that's a very important way for the novice people. They can come to the NFT market or the Web3 market very easily.
So it's basically smoothing out the initial user experience when it comes to interacting with things like digital art. And I guess in some respect gaming as well, in terms of providing
Yes, yes,
gachas and that
yeah.
component as well. So different components.
Very That's very important thing because for the gacha, there's a lot of people because for the people they holding the activities, but they can cheat with their because it's a gacha, it's a game, so it's very easy to cheat. But how we are doing is trying to using the blockchain to make the gacha much very fair. It would be very fair because everything you can see on the blockchain and there's nothing to cheat. So I think it's very convincible for people to believe. Okay, it's a fair game that's using the gacha system in the game system, and now we are also developing the some very exciting. I can tell you that we are trying to doing a new feature. It's a vote. Vote is also a new product we are doing that we allow those people able to vote, but we also have some algorithm to hide before the result can be revealed. But everything is happen on the blockchain, so you can verify afterwards after the vote end, and you can verify everything, and there's nothing can cheat on the Web3. So we are now also developing this kind of tool, and we think that these are very essential function if you want to activities or want to hit a whole campaign. And that's with this kind of a tool, we make the people feel okay. It's a very fair game, and you can release and try to enjoy the campaign very much.
Okay, so we have the gacha system and the vote system. And I think what I'm still sort of thinking about the gacha system and how it leads to better onboarding. And I think what's great is that it's a very familiar dynamic, at least within gaming. So then applying it to the NFT space, it doesn't feel that different. But I think with voting, it can be a new experience because you don't really understand the system, the voting system you're participating in. So is that more for people who are, I guess, a bit more experienced with the platform? Or how do you encourage people to learn how to engage in voting?
Yeah, I think that we what we want to do is to convince people that of course it's all the data will be online, and we have some new algorithm can prove that it's very safe and very convenient for people. Of course, because we are verifying the data, and all the result was encrypted, and we can prove that it's very safe. That even you vote, people only know the result, but they don't know who is voting doing the vote. So we keep the people very safe. That's and I think it's very interesting. And we also published the paper to the conference that to make people believe, okay, it's very strong in the algorithm we are developing. So by this kind of procedure, we hope people they can challenge us that okay, what we can do in the future about the vote. And we really believe in the future voting system is very important because, for example, in this kind of this time the vote in US or someplace, people believe that okay, some people will cheat in the vote. But with all this kind of data bring to the Web3, and everyone can verify by the algorithm. I think it's very nice experience for people to thinking about. Okay, we can start to using the vote in the Web3 world.
Okay, so it's not necessarily about just binding it to the NFT platform, but Akaswap is really diversifying the product so that its utility is actually much greater and it can be applied to other Web3 functionalities as
Yeah.
well.
Yes. I think there's a for us. I think the token or the NFT is only the foundation. But with this kind of foundation, you need to start to think about how you are going to use this token, because the usage is the only way to make it useful. So this is how we think that we are not only developing the NFT market, but we also need to think about okay how we can really use the token well, and to make people believe it's worth to invest their money or their time into this kind of world, the Web3 world.
So it's understanding how to engineer the utility. And I like the idea that, you know, the NFT marketplace is just the gateway, but there's so many other things that need to be developed for a platform like Akaswap to be truly powerful and have the impact that it wants to create. But then if we were to look at the art space again as sort of the starting point, how has that evolved ever since more of this technology has become available?
Okay, you mean the from the Akaswap I think Akaswap is still the marketplace for digital art piece. So there are still many people developing the tools, but we are also facing that not too many people know about the Web3, and we still need more and more people come to us and to talk with us to know, okay, the Web3 is a good and it's a very nice future that you can use in the future. So now we are doing more activities because we want to make people believe, okay, what we are doing is very useful, it's very worthy that you can come. But meanwhile, we still keep doing the digital art developing because it's our career that we are digital artists, so we never stop to developing our piece. But I think this is like a two kind of mission that we want to bring the many digital artists to the marketplace and to keep publish their works on the Akaswap. But we also want the more people they come to the place to know, okay, it's not only for art, but it can be also used in many ways.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I don't want to glaze over the details of your background, which is why art is such a powerful component in your work, which is that if I'm not wrong, and correct me if I am, I learned that you hold a bachelor's and a master's degree in music and new media, as well as a
Yeah.
PhD in computer science. So you do
Yes.
have this blend of art and technology, which is pretty much everything that's celebrated in web. So I understand why there is always this creative core in what you're doing in terms of the passion of what you're building. But in terms of understanding the functionality is what's sort of leading you to break outward and expand. But one important question is when you began building this platform, what was it that was unique about Tezos that made you want to build there?
Okay. Of course, it's the beginning is the start from the here and now. There are many artists they come to the table, and then by comparing to the Ethereum, that's because the gas fee and the transaction is too high, and which is not very good for the artist to create because there are many levels of artists, and of course there are some artists they are very nice, very expensive. So it's very suitable for them to use in the Ethereum. But in the art decent, there are still very many young artists, and they need to go to the market. But if the gas fee or the transaction fee is too high, which is not good for them because the collector they don't want to spend too much gas fee in collecting the piece because it's depending on the value of the piece. So we really think that to reduce the barrier of the marketplace, which Tezos is very nice at this moment because there's a lot of community already here. And from here and now, and the OBJKT and the FXH, that there are so many artists coming to the Tezos, and the gas fee is very friendly to all the users, and which I think that's the most two important factor that people start. We should still keep developing the Tezos in this area because this with the community and the gas fee, which is very nice for the community. The art.
So not only did the community or the art community already exist, and I think you mentioned Hicket or Here Now, Object, and FX Hash. So there was already this sort of active ecosystem of creatives that you could bring Asia-based artists into and be sort of that connecting bridge. But also it was just a friendlier environment to start because it wasn't expensive to access. and it would empower artists to actually start without feeling like they were being priced out from the beginning. Is that right?
Yes, yes, that's correct. And by the way, there's now also developing the Ethereum Etherlink that's in the future, not in the future, but using the Etherlink, it's very easily to connect the Tezos to the Ethereum, and which also make the nice bridge to them. So I think there's really looking forward about the Etherlink, and which can bring the more, because there are already a lot of assets in the Tezos network. So by the Ethereum Etherlink, that we can bring the this token in exchange to Ethereum, which is very nice. It's very ideal. Nice idea to this. Yeah.
So how do you think you will adapt Akaswap for something like Etherlink so that you can potentially attract Ethereum artists over to Tezos, or to give greater exposure to the Tezos-based artists to a wider community of, crypto users?
Yeah, I think we are not, of course, developing the this kind of Etherlink to, and we want in the future that the people can have more freedom if they want to exchange their token to the Etherlink, and in the Etherlink they want to exchange to Ethereum. That's possible. So I think the Etherlink, we are going to keep more. I think we are providing more choice for the user, and the user, they can choose wherever they want to stay. They can still keep stay in Tezos. They can stay in Etherlink, and if they want in the future, I think it's a very fascinating ecosystem, because artists, they can start to in the Teso, and when they have more collector, they can start to bring their piece to Etherlink and then to the Ethereum, which is it's like a different level of artist that can do.
So it's basically about giving the users the choice rather than forcing them into sort of these siloed environments. And it just makes it an
Yeah.
open and freer space to interact with.
Yep. Yep.
So that all being said, has developing Akaswap, and this is from the point of view of artists and the art community, has developing Akaswap given you new insights into how the crypto art world operates? Or is this like, what are the main things that you've learned about interacting with this space?
Okay, I think it's very important that to have the community, because Akaswap or this kind of marketplace can, it need to be find the support from the community, and with the support of the community, that's make the artists, they can start to, they can keep developing their piece in this place. So I think it's very important that for like this time we in Asia we have a new exhibition. It's called Dialogue. It's combine the artists from the Japan, Taiwan, mainland China, and Korean. So there will be totally like 40 artists, digital art artists. They, and we have an exhibition in the four place, in the four city. So now the exhibition happened in Korean right now, and it just finished last 2 weeks in Taipei. So I think it's very important that the artists, they get together into the community, and when they get together to publish their work, and they are more collector, they see, okay, the digital art or the generative art is so important in the future, and which make the collector, they have a more intention to collect the digital art. I think it's a very nice circle for the ecosystem.
So it's kind of seeing its fusion into almost the traditional art world and sort of seeing that momentum take off, and like how there's a bridge that exists between, and that at least kind of in the same way that, Tezos is using Etherlink to bridge into the Ethereum ecosystem, there is this bridge between the digital art world, the generative art world, and the traditional media space, which means that kind of
Yeah.
everyone benefits because it doesn't keep people confined into specific environments. which I agree with you, I think is wonderful. I mean, we're coming up to the end of the year now. So what are Akaswap's plans for 2025?
Okay, we first, of course, that we are going to developing the more functionality in the Etherlink, and those function like the Akaswap, and we are now doing the Akaswap, and we are now also developing some functions. So in the 2025, that's I think we are bringing more function to the users. Meanwhile, that we are also working with many activities right now. I think okay. Actually, we now we have more co-work with the VR virtual reality this time. So next year we are going to have a more virtual reality product in the future that's combined with the Web3. So let's see how we are going to publish this new function.
So a lot of new features, a lot of new functions, but they're all still underdeveloped. So under development. So we will see how they play out in the near future. And hopefully we will see some exciting new things on Akaswap very soon.
Yeah.
If there was any final message you wanted to share with our listeners, what would it be? And also, where can people find more information about Akaswap?
Of course, that just come to the Akaswap that we always in the event that you can always see that what we are doing recently. So trying to find out this, and then we will also launching the if you can see that we also publish our information in the Akaswap Twitter. So by the Twitter that you can also see what we are developing soon. So please follow us on the Twitter and subscribe us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jinyao. I'm very excited to see how Akaswap develops, especially in the coming months with all of the new features. And, until we speak or interact again, I wish you the best of luck with all of the projects that you are currently working on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.